game seems very focused on play and being able to build a fellowship quite quickly of characters that work together. And again, the focus is to do with this and are interesting characters. My friend Steve will love to be mentioned. Hi, Steve. He very often likes to play like a Dunedain ranger. You know, that's his thing. And of course, I was thinking, oh no, Steve can't play a ranger. He's going to go crazy. But I started looking at what sort of character builds you could use within the game. You know, and there's really interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I think that make practical differences between the various character types you get in the game, we tried to find references either in their sources or even in the sources that Tolkien used for his own books, or in other literature or in history. So I think that the six playable cultures we have in the game represent some really strong archetypes, because you get the bardings that in some ways are the more knightly type of characters, even if we're always talking about Dark Ages knights. We will go back on that soon. And then we have the woodmen of Wildland, and these are more like a bit more ranger-like type of characters because they're more in tune with nature and stalwart defenders against the shadow. And then you have the wood elves that are interesting because I think they are a bit different from what you might expect from a Tolkienian elf, as I don't know if other games actually really tried to show the differences between the various types of elves. So the woodmen, the wood elves are really distinctive. And then, of course, the hobbits. They don't need to be differentiated. They're different.
They're complete. They're like an anachronism, almost, aren't they? Within the books, they're very different to the other groups.
But then, just one word, because I want to say that people that is expecting more variation within this narrow focus that we are having for the game should not be afraid, because we had 3 sets to explore and supplements, so we will widen the bounds of the game, even in directions I do not particularly care about. So it's not that the game is going to be driven only by my own interests in the setting. Sure. So we will also listen to what you say, what the players say. And just one word, because I care about that a bit, about the Rangers of the North.
Yeah, sure.
We will have them in a future supplement together, basically with the High Elves, with the Noldorin Elves. The reasons why they're not in the core set. First, it is because we were using very much the Hobbit focus. They are not in the Hobbit. And they basically deal with an area that is not Wildland. So we couldn't actually have them in the book with that focus in mind. And then there's another thing. What we're trying to show with this first set is really that we want to start low, to show the setting from the inside, to show it with the eyes of someone who's really going beyond the boundaries of his own land for the first time, new adventures. So we felt that having Rangers of the North in the mix could ruin this unity of effect, because the Rangers of the North are basically the elite forces, if everybody can pardon me the modern comparison. Because they are much more in the know of what is going on behind the curtains. I mean, they are the wardens of the Shire and Eriador. I mean, they know a bit more for the perspective that we're trying to set, first core set. So, and also they're a bit probably on a different power level than other character types. So the way we're handling them, and the same way we're handling the Northern elves, we will propose them as how do you say that, optional characters.
Okay.
Not really in the canon, but right outside the canon set by the game. And this means if you want them in your own campaign, then no problem, you can have them. Just consider that they are a bit outside of what we consider to be canon for the rest of the cultures, because they know more, they can probably do more, and we're exploring a few ways actually to also represent what we feel are the limits that can be given to those type of characters as adventurers, because the Rangers of the North in particular have a kind of a job they have to attend to. So it's not really that easy to have them going around anywhere in the company of anybody to do their own individual things. They have duties to attend to. And the Northern elves are just a few by the end of the Third Age. There are not a lot around, and well, that's a long thing to explore. But they have limits of their own, because they saw so many things in their lives that they just basically long to go back to Lenore, and so well. So that's the idea.
I was very pleasantly surprised when I got them, because I've had a series of manuscripts, but even in the very first one, I was really surprised that there wasn't a breakdown or along traditional role-playing game lines. Oh, now I've said traditional, and lots of people will be going story games or something. Nothing to do with that. I mean traditional as in the niche protection type classes, that you have a guy who fights, you have a guy who heals, you have a guy who does magic, and there isn't quite that kind of... The pie is not sliced that way, is it, in this game? It's a lot of people share different virtues and
yes,
you know.
Yes, yeah, that's... I think that that's because we didn't start from the needs of the mechanics and then went to adapt those mechanics to the setting, but we started the other way around. We started from the setting and tried to focus the which mechanics we needed to have to represent each character type. At the same time, trying to be quite as simple as possible. So we didn't start from the idea of classes, for example, but that's really, this really comes from the sources. We had a good look at the books, and we just said what makes Boromir who he is. Is it a captain? Is he the warden, or is he a Gondorian? So that what comes first, because in other games you just chose your genetic like race, middleman and Dunedain and stuff, and then you focused on the culture where you came from. I think that, for example, even if the Woodmen of Wildland and the Bjornings and the Bardings all belong to a generic Northman ethnic group, they are very much different. They are very different from each other because they belong to a different culture. So we thought that this was what came foremost as the defining element for a character.